So, Michael, my friend, is Katie Porter's apology you just heard there enough?
No, I mean, look, we have to look at this through two separate lenses. The first thing is the interview with the reporter was odd because those are very basic questions that any elected official should be able to answer easily. I watched the entire clip of all the other interviews that reporter gave, and she asked the same questions of all of them, so I was a little confused as to what the problem was. I'll say this, as it relates to the staffer, the way she dehumanized that person is never acceptable. I'll also say, as someone who has worked for 4 elected officials at the federal level, that as a staffer, you have to know your boss, and you have to have awareness as well, and so you don't want to put your boss in a position where they're not always looking their best. And so, for instance, if I were there, I would have made sure that I wasn't in the camera shot for that particular reason. But I don't think there's ever any excuse or reason for an elected official to speak to a staff member in that way. I'll say one more thing. California is the most important state in the country, economically speaking, and the 4th largest economy in the world. And so whomever wins that seat has to be someone with the temperament and expertise to do that job properly.
Do you think what we've just witnessed there, these conversations, is going to cast doubt on her ability to run her campaign and recover from this? And let me just say, you know, everybody should be granted a little bit of grace when it's a stressful time. I mean, she's running for governor of California. But do you think Americans, or Californians in particular, are going to grant her that grace?
You know what's more stressful than running for governor? Being governor. I have no insight personally into her, but I will say I did touch base with a few friends on the Hill this morning about this situation, and none of them were surprised as to what happened. And so we should give her some grace because this was a moment, but I think that this is a very serious conversation because of the importance of that governorship for this country under the Trump presidency.
All right, let's talk about, meantime, what's happening with California Governor Gavin Newsom, who's enlisting the help of Barack Obama to sell voters on the state's redistricting effort. Let's take a listen to this.
California, the whole nation is counting on you. Democracy is on the ballot November 4th. Republicans want to steal enough seats in Congress to rig the next election and wield unchecked power for 2 more years. With Prop 50, you can stop Republicans in their tracks. Prop 50 puts our elections back on a level playing field, preserves independent redistricting over the long term, and lets the people decide. Return your ballot today. Vote yes on 50.
You know, to your point that California is the most important state in the union right now, how significant is it to have the former president support this fight?
Oh, it's massive. I mean, Barack Obama remains our LeBron James. He's our closer, and he was our most important elected official in recent history today. Now, obviously, I worked for him, and so I'm kind of in the tank in terms of his ability, but I still think he's our star. And so him weighing in on this incredibly important issue was critical for us to be able to get this over the line. And then it's important for us to be able to have a competitive election in the midterms that's not rigged, which is the whole part of this conversation. Donald Trump is trying to rig the midterm elections. Governor Newsom and other allies are trying to make sure it's fair, in part by having this redistricting conversation in California.
Okay, but there's going to be pushback in the form of Republicans, for example, in North Carolina, who say Newsom's move is forcing them to respond. You've got 2 state representatives, right? They're stepping into this redistricting battle because California and the radical left are attempting to rig the system to handpick who runs Congress. And they've added, President Trump has called on us to fight back, and North Carolina stands ready to level the playing field. But what do you make of the fact that they, conveniently neglect to mention Republican-run Texas was the first state to start this whole national redistricting domino effect?
It's low-level gaslighting. There's no reason for Democrats to disarm in this fight where Republicans have made clear that they're going to rig the election. If we did nothing in California, these electeds in North Carolina still would have done what they're doing here because their whole goal here is to rig the election to prevent Donald Trump from being held accountable in a democratically run House of Representatives. And so Democrats are doing the right thing in California and hopefully in Illinois and Maryland and beyond, which is making sure the playing field is level. That is what we must do. We can't wait for Republicans to do something and then respond to that. We have to lead first and make the weather.
Okay, Michael Hardaway, good to see you. Thank you much. Up next, President Trump